Welcome to the Hostility. Welcome to the Hostility Morning Show. I'm your host, John, joined here today by
Nathan.
Steven.
Matthew.
Steven, I'm so thankful for you and your antics and
Aw.
my ability to just roast you continually, but you still show up.
Yeah, well, what else better do I have to do?
Nothing. That's why you still show up. That's right. This is, happy Thanksgiving. So we are gonna go round robin around the table and say what we are thankful for. Because corporate definitely didn't say we absolutely have to say what we're thankful for. Right?
Nope, that's definitely not what's happening.
Nathan,
Yes.
what are you thankful for this holiday season?
I am thankful for my family, time spent with loved ones, and my new iPhone.
Okay.
You mean your work family, right?
I was gonna say. So what's the real answer? Okay, so the iPhone. Got it.
And what's so good about your iPhone that you're thankful for?
It's a little bit smaller.
Mm-hmm.
It's way more powerful.
Yeah,
Cameras are better.
Does it have a plateau?
It does.
I still say it's more of a Mesa.
On the Pro, honestly, it is more of a Mesa. It's pretty big.
Or like high plains.
It's not that high. I wouldn't call it. Mesa's good. I wouldn't. It's not that tall.
Fair enough. So small
Can we
small
start
and powerful. That's the selling points.
For me.
Can we start
Yeah.
calling it the iMesa? Like how the iMac G4 was the iLamp?
I'm good with that.
This was
Yeah.
the iMesa.
I mean, that would be the Air more so than the Pro, but yeah.
Well, that's the iPlateau.
It's still
They're all
more of
plateau. It's all plateau, and they all have it. Like this one, it's much bigger.
Matthew, what are you thankful for?
I'm actually pretty thankful for AI. I'm gonna be honest.
Whoa!
I like
You mean the thing that's going to take your job?
I've seen some things this week. It's not taking my job. If anything, the only reason why it's going to take my job is because it didn't do a good job of cleaning up after it. So we can get
Fair.
into that. But yeah, like just the tools that have come out this year have been really cool. GitHub just released their own CLI, so kind of like Claude Code
Okay.
or Open Code, or insert your terminal coding agent here. I got to play around with it just like very briefly today. And it was a very nice experience.
Wait, and this is totally from a place of ignorance. I could be totally misunderstanding the relationship between things, but wouldn't that kind of sort of directly compete with Visual Studio, or am I not understanding how all those
No.
relate to each other?
So the way that Copilot works in an editor,
Mhm.
so for example, Visual Studio or Visual Studio Code, is it integrates with the editor.
Mhm.
So part of it is you get the editor, and then you have like the agent or the
Mhm.
edit mode or the ask mode. It's all just like right there as a sidebar or whatever. The terminal serves a different purpose. So instead of editing things in the terminal, what you're doing is you're queuing up the Copilot to just do things.
Oh, okay.
So you can do that interactively, as far as like you have it open in a
Mhm.
terminal window and you're doing stuff. Or the big draw, I haven't had a chance to play around with it this far yet. But the big draw is, since it is a CLI application, you can treat it like a CLI application and script it to do things. So
Okay.
instead of the way that it works now, like if you can imagine, you open up a GPT window,
Mhm.
right? Or Gemini, or your favorite LLM, you're prompting and stuff like
Ask
that.
the questions, yeah.
Instead, you can script the prompts and everything, and then just have that feed into the CLI. So you can have this more autonomous kind of thing. That's just it's a lot easier to wrangle that than it is.
It's a more seamless integration
Yeah.
because
You can treat it more like a individual tool and not have
Correct.
to have an editor open and all that other stuff.
because when it's scripted through, once it's all written and it's done, it can just be literally injected into your main code.
Mhm.
It's just there.
Okay, I got you.
The other thing that
makes more sense.
I'm thankful for is the hand-me-down iPad that I got. So my wife does a lot of digital art, right? So she had a base model 2020 iPad, base model, so 32 gig storage, and yeah, it lasted a solid 5 years. It's still kicking, right? So it's it works. It just doesn't work really well for what she does, like Procreate and stuff like that. So it was crashing for her. Not a great not a great experience. So we got her a base model 2025 iPad, so like the 16 or whatever.
I think so.
Which like night and day difference. 5 years.
Yep.
Makes a difference. Still works with her Apple Pencil, so we didn't have to shell out like an extra $120 or whatever for the new one. We just had to pay, I think, $10 for the adapter, the Lightning to USB-C adapter, and then get a new case. But other than that, like she's been super happy. I've been super happy. I don't really do anything with it other than Shonen Jump manga. Like that's kind of it. It's a nicer experience than my e-reader. Like text is great. The images are fine, but just like the Shonen Jump app is really annoying because you have to swipe between and it draws the whole pages as you're doing. It's not just like you click next and then it refreshes to the new page. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, it
I think I
has
see
the
what- yeah.
animation.
And so it has to draw that whole thing, and so it's a very janky experience because like on
Could you not change that in settings? Could you like turn off animations or something? Oh,
no,
okay.
not for this app, which is really annoying. So even if you have it on the high refresh rate though, then the resolution is not as good. So you're sacrificing image quality for the better
Yep.
animations, which is not really what I want. I don't want to have to choose between those two things.
Right.
So the iPad solves that problem.
I bet if you got a new iPad, it wouldn't have that problem.
Well, it's not the e-reader, but anyway, so that's been nice. I really just use it for like reading stuff I don't read on my like reading in apps that have a lot of motion, if that makes sense. So instead of like EPUBs and stuff like that, it's things with infinite scroll or a lot of animation like Shonen Jump. So yeah, the hand-me-down iPad. That's also something I'm thankful for.
I think that was everybody. John, did you give what you're thankful for?
I'm thankful for all of my coworkers.
And especially HR. You can't leave out Cheryl and HR.
HR is the best. I appreciate them so much.
I can tell how genuine you are.
The enthusiasm
Yeah.
is just
Palatable.
palpitate. Yes.
Yeah.
Is this like EAAS, like enthusiasm as a service?
Yes. Yes.
Is enthusiasm as a service? Is that
EAS?
platform as a service or software as a service?
Software as a service.
Okay.
No, it wouldn't be a platform as of yet. No, but seriously, what I'm thankful for this year has just kind of been a really good year to kind of reflect and reset for my current like goals and strategies kind of moving forward. So for me, I've been trying to decide on the career path kind of what I want to do. And then like with the home lab side, getting the opportunity to kind of restart and rebuild from there has been a really good experience. Just to kind of, when you have all that complexity built out over the years and it starts to get a little overwhelming, it's nice to just basically blow it all away and start as a clean slate. Really only focus on what you need instead of a lot of the distractions that you can have of, well, I know I can go and do this. I have an interest here. I can go and deploy all these nice programs, which they're cool to have, but it just wasn't required. So this year has been kind of like trying to simplify a lot of those aspects, and it's been good.
It's also nice to have a really big server rack to put it all in, isn't it?
It is, and not having to just stack computers on top of servers on top of other servers, and not having to have a really janky setup for your hard drives in your NAS that don't ever use the built-in Windows software RAID to try and build your data set. You're gonna have a very, very bad time.
I don't know.
Can you send me this clip after so that I can get John saying don't ever use Windows and just like chop it up?
Just chop that
Honestly,
out. Yeah.
so at this day and age, yeah, I'm for a 2025 year of Windows, 100%. Let it be the year of Linux.
The year of the Linux desktop server, it's already there.
It's been that way for a while, but yeah,
Yeah.
but just let it rule the rest of your life. It's nice. I mean, I still have Windows on a few machines, but like the only reason is just because I'm too lazy to switch it over to Linux right now. But when those devices need to be finally refreshed, they're just going to Linux.
I do. I will have to. I do have to say that before the rack, your server Jenga was
Was hilarious.
was kind of
Hey,
hilarious. It was kind of impressive though.
I mean, again, I had a lot of horsepower in a very condensed area.
Mm-hmm.
It worked great. And then
Stacks on stacks.
that screaming deal on that Panduit server rack.
That was a fun afternoon. That was a good day.
That was a fun rest of the day trying to tear. I had to tear that thing down to the bare frame just to get it into my office.
I
by
mean, you could
myself.
fit 2 whole Stevens in that thing.
You could.
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah,
you could.
yeah, too, yeah.
It's deep. It's wide and deep enough for that. Because I also like
deep and wide, deep and wide. There's a server rack. So deep and wide.
Anyway, I do like this server rack because it is of the it's an actual like true data center rack where it is wider for cabling. Because a lot of the standard more business class racks, you have it's much more narrow 'cause it's supposed to get through standard width like 32-inch doors. So you lose all that extra space for cabling. Where mine, it's like, why cable manage when you can just
stuff it all.
just stuff it there, and then it has all the cable combs. You just put some hook and loop in
Yeah,
there.
you've got like
and
2
you're done.
Stevens worth of space for
it's
the
great.
computers and stuff, and then a half Stevens worth of space to
Yeah.
just shove all the cables.
The
in
only
there.
thing I'm not looking forward to is I need to expand the NAS, as Steven saw the panic look on my face when I hit over 80%, and I said, "Oh no." I had to order hard drives, and the biggest regret.
No, the panic was more so when he searched and saw the price of the hard drives and
That
said, "Oh
too.
no."
Yeah, now I have to pull that heavy server out to put hard drives in because it's not in a hot swap case. Because I went looking at prices for hot swap cases and the amount of drives that I have, and I also went, "Oh no." But yeah.
It's not hard to do these days.
No, no, it's not. But overall, thankful for it.
I should also note that I am also thankful for AI, because I have finally been able to get an app that I've been wanting to do for a long time off the ground, thanks to AI.
Just vibe coding over here.
Yep.
I will say the app, that part of it was the easy part. Getting everything else around it, no. So much harder.
Well, I would say the thing that I'm thankful for this year is while it doesn't get as much use as is probably justified, but even just for coming here and doing little things, very thankful to have an actual modern laptop
Yeah,
to do things
hey,
on.
you
It's-
got the mileage out of that old MacBook.
Oh boy, did I! Yeah, and it's been in my floor and hasn't been turned on since I got this thing. But this, it's really nice. Anytime I do use this, just being able to turn it on and the battery's not completely dead, and just having something that doesn't stutter. And now, to be fair, even the way I was using it before, the old one, I was not getting the beach ball. There were just times it would be working pretty hard, or it would be a little sluggish or whatever. But to my recollection, even to the very, very end, I was not getting the beach ball for any given task.
But you weren't getting the beach ball because it was boot camp.
No, even when I was using the Mac side.
Okay.
Because I actually, to be fair, I did use the Mac side more than I used the Windows side.
Oh, really?
Well, up until kind of towards the end, because the latest version, the highest version of Mac that it would support, which I believe was Catalina, was getting pretty significantly out of like security compliance, and I felt bad opening that up on John's network, and the Windows 10 was still supported, so I was like,
Man, the pie hole should take care
I
of
should
all
probably,
that.
And
I
it's
should
fine.
probably just use Windows 10 because
It's segmented off anyways.
Yeah.
It's okay.
But anyway, so
Get a guest network
but
set up
even
just
ju-
for the.
especially because it booted right into
What do
it.
you mean get one set up? It's already done.
Okay,
Yeah.
is that what we're on right now?
No. I have a dedicated Wi-Fi just for the hostility stuff. But like no, like again, I have one for work. I have one for my devices. I have one for my IoT devices. I have one for dedicated guest network. I have one for all the stupid TVs and whatnot. No, my network has many ridges. It is not flat at all.
There's no plateaus over
There's
here.
no plateaus.
Nope. But yeah, I like this little thing. I think it's gonna serve me for a while, and I'm very thankful that I had the opportunity to snag it for a real good deal.
I will say I also got hand-me-down a Surface, and as much as I hate Windows, there's a couple pieces of proprietary software that don't work well on Linux at the moment. That I still need to do some like tinkering and stuff. But yeah, for like the non-gaming stuff, that's been nice.
And it's just the regular old Surface that has like the little kickstand that pops
yeah,
out.
it's a Surface Pro 7,
Okay.
I think.
Those are probably fine.
Yeah, and it's fine. It's been good. I set it up with a local account.
Just don't use it outside on a hot sunny day on a regular basis.
I don't take my electronics outside
Okay,
anyway.
good.
So
Because they're not known for good heat dissipation.
The reason why he doesn't take his electronics outside much is he doesn't go outside. What?
I probably go outside more than you do.
I'm outside a decent amount actually these days.
When's the last time you moved that boat?
Saturday. I had
Really?
to move it to get I had to manually pull it out to be able to get into the storage room.
Your poor back.
No, actually it's really easy to move once on wheels. It's not bad at all. My poor back was assembling that tool chest, but that's
What's all the undercarpet for?
oh,
Did you pull that out or are you putting it in?
no, so that was in that storage closet. That was you see all these sound panels
Oh.
around you? That's
okay.
what's inside those. I was gonna
That makes a lot more sense.
build additional panels for the studio,
Gotcha.
for the office, and a little squirrel decided to eat walnuts inside of that, and that killed that dream. So I was gonna build them the right way with rock wool instead, but we're just slowly having to throw that away because it's still in the dumpster. Anyway,
Allegedly.
I think we're thankful enough. John, do you think we're thankful enough? Do you think
no, I think there's one thing we still got to be very thankful for, and Matthew, I'm not saying we're gonna be thankful specifically for you, but we're gonna be thankful for your kind. And what we're saying is developers.
Woo!
All right, go ahead.
Yeah. You should be thankful for me. We're what makes the world go round.
Until Claude AI found the updates its model to what?
So one of the annoying things about Claude is I need to see if there's a way that I can turn it off. I don't know if this is Claude or if this is Visual Studio Code. But recently, like this last week, I was working on a project. There's a bunch of maintenance for it. So I just had some repetitive tasks, right? I needed it to do some specific updates to like a handful of different files. And one of the things it was doing, instead of just editing files, it kept asking me for tool calls. So for example, instead of editing and moving a file, it was like, hey, can I run this command to edit and move the file? Just random things like that, which made it a not seamless experience.
What a noob.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, because I didn't have this issue before. And then now all of a sudden with the MCP servers and stuff like that, it's like, okay, we can do this now.
So it was being like an annoying intern.
Because I had to babysit it a little bit. So now one of the things that you can do is you can set it up to where you can auto approve certain commands. So you don't have to give it blanket approval. And giving it I'm just going to throw this out there right now. If you are giving an agent blanket approval on your machine, you are absolutely retarded. And AI will come for your job because you don't need it if you're just going to give AI blanket approval to do anything it wants on your machine. That's just setting yourself up for failure. So for example, I don't want to give it blanket approval to delete files, right? I don't want to give it blanket approval to move and edit everything.
Sure.
Like before, my understanding was it was segregated to the folder that I was working in, right? So the workspace. And then now it's just kind of doing weird stuff. I do have a couple commands so like to build the project, right? Like it's either going to build the project and it's successful, or it's going to build the project, it's going to throw some errors, and it's going to give some more context. There's no like bad scenario there. I've never had anything like blow up extremely after building a project. So that is set to auto approve. I blocked it from running the project because I don't need it to do that. I don't want it to do that. I'm going to do that myself. It can run the test suite, but it doesn't need to run the actual project because there are some like steps and stuff involved there that the AI is probably just going to choke on anyway. So yeah, stuff like that. Just be careful with giving AI permission on your computer. That's the warning right here.
Yeah, but I would definitely say like I think the AI bubble is going to pop soon.
Oh,
but
absolutely.
we're kind of in a little bit of a renaissance still. So one thing that I saw that actually released recently, and for once I'm actually like really intrigued. So kind of going back to our Moore's Law conversation and graphics cards, things of that nature, Intel released a really interesting card on their Pro line. It's the Intel Arc Pro B50. And why this is interesting is this little graphics card has 16 gigs of onboard memory
Mm.
and is a really, really good AI accelerator.
How much?
It's $350.
That's actually not bad.
No, it's like really good.
How much is the RTX?
The
Like 9060? That's like
uh
$400, isn't it?
more than that, it's not. It doesn't have as much memory. The equivalent on the Pro side from Nvidia is the A1000, and that is like $800 or $900.
Hmm.
So it's like it's significant. It's a really good undercut. Additionally, for those who want to get into AI but don't really know like where to start for the self-hosting end, Intel is including bundled a little app that has a bunch of LLMs like already natively built into it. So all you do is just install the card, load the graphics drivers, the Pro driver specifically, because it comes with that software, and then right then and there you have direct access to multiple AI models that you can start playing with right now.
Dang you! I may have to build another computer.
I know when they come back in stock, I want to try to snag at least one, but I would prefer two.
Wait, did you finally build like an actual good computer?
I built a budget model a long time ago.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like that was back on the AM3 platform.
It was not quite that bad, but yeah,
I'd say we're on AM5 right now.
it was a long time ago.
I'm still on AM3.
No, you're AM4.
Am I 4?
You're 4.
Okay.
Yeah, AM4 is
I'm
rising.
pretty sure I'm AM4 across the board, actually.
Because AM3 is that was like Bulldozer. and
Actually, oddly enough,
the FX chips.
oh god, wait.
That was AM3.
Yeah, 'cause I have AM4
Wow,
and AM5 in my
mind, my brain
environment.
went out the window. Yeah. Yeah, so I think I'm AM4 across the board. And honestly, I think if I remember right, except for one, both of my AMD home lab machines that are in my closet actually have better processors than my day-to-day computer does, because I have a Ryzen
back.
5
No, 5600.
5600 in my desktop, and I have 5900s in the home labs.
Mhm.
But it works.
Yeah.
My desktop's still doing fine, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, 'cause you don't use it for super heavy workloads, which is like
Not really,
storage.
but even when I played, honestly, when I played, and I didn't even tinker that much around with fan curves or didn't mess with overclock, I didn't mess with anything
doesn't get
graphics
hot.
wise. Battlefield 6 beta ran great.
Yeah.
I wasn't paying close attention to frame rates. I can tell you I didn't drop below 60. I can tell what 60 is and below, like just visual, like playing
but-
and
and-
smoothness. But man, like it ran
Yeah, it's
perfectly
like
fine.
honestly, like developers for Battlefield 6, like they need to kind of pat themselves on the back. That was of the Battlefield
So
betas
good.
I have played, that was the most stable one.
It worked for people like me. Like I was gonna play it because like you were playing it and a couple other people. Like I was like, hey, I haven't played a first person shooter in a long time. It's free. It's Battlefield. It's nostalgic for me. Like, yeah, sure, I'm gonna play it a few times, like just to get some of that. Dude, I mean, I'm as much as I don't want to spend money on it, like I'm really tempted because it was really good. It really brought back that Battlefield 4 nostalgia, and it was just for being a beta, like, oh my god. I mean, I saw some of like the comments and the things people were experiencing as far as glitches. I never experienced any of those.
I had only 2 glitch experiences. One of them was related to shadows, where it did large shadow artifacting everywhere. That was super distracting. And then I had 1 crash. That was it.
Yeah, mine never crashed. I didn't see any of that. No,
Yeah,
I was
And now
impressed.
I
Was
didn't
very
test
impressed.
it on that was on my all AMD rig. I did not test it on my other rig that has a 3080 in it.
Well,
But
and then especially because it's actually going. The game is actually going to come with a campaign.
Yep.
And
Finally.
it
Again.
sounds
What's a
like
campaign?
a pretty cool campaign.
I know.
Just don't start.
What's a campaign?
Or
Is that a thing that
Zoomer,
was in?
calm down.
Is that? Don't call me a zoomer. I'm over here. What two of the my or 4? I'm gonna say 4 of my most favorite and probably most played games on my Steam Deck are Quake 1 and 2.
Nice.
So like the remasters are phenomenal, and then Doom 1 and 2, like classic Doom 1 and 2, not Doom 2016,
Honestly, I've
and
never
then
played
Doom Eternal.
Ooh, have
um,
you played the Doom 64 port that's on Steam?
Mhm.
That's very
Yeah. Like Doom like just classic boomer shooters, you know.
Mhm.
Those are a lot of fun.
First of all, I take
And all
issue
of those was
I
campaign.
take issue with boomer shooter.
Well, that's what
That's
they're
what
called.
they
I
are.
didn't make that up. That was just
Well, I take
the term
issue
given.
with those that have deemed them as such because not freaking boomer.
Okay, boomer.
Anyway. But yeah, no, I almost don't like that I'm tempted to buy that game
Well,
because it was so good.
speaking of AEA, did you see the news about them going private?
Yep.
It's like a $50
No.
billion deal from Saudi Arabia. or
Saudi
something.
Arabia. Yep. That's
Yeah.
going to be owning it.
Interesting.
Yeah, out
Yeah.
of all the companies.
So
Right?
Yeah,
it's going to be having to jump through a lot of hoops, and they're looking to close the deal sometime in 2027. So it's not immediate.
Yeah.
this is like what Microsoft buying Activision Blizzard.
Kind of, except again, Microsoft is a public-facing company.
Mhm.
Saudi Arabia, I mean, it's public, but they're going to be pulling the public side of EA, and it's going to be back to full private ownership. So
That'll be interesting.
Well, that's one thing we need to see in the acquisition. Are they still going to be publicly traded?
Yeah, it'll be interesting because
I don't know.
I can't see, like, especially if they did go private, I can't see them being any worse than they already are. You know what I mean?
I don't know. So that's where it's like, 'cause I saw something from BioWare that came out where they're super concerned about this buyout because, well, number one, BioWare hasn't been
Bioware's been trashed for years.
they haven't done well since Mass Effect 3. Legitimately, that's the last
'cause they've
good
had, like,
game
what?
that they came out.
They've
with.
had
Anthem.
Andromeda.
Yeah,
Anthem. I actually
Andromeda was
played
bad.
Anthem. Anthem was fun.
Anthem was fun,
The
but
characters
it was shallow.
The characters were bad, but the gameplay was a lot of fun. Because if you can imagine, Anthem was basically you get to play as Iron Man. You get to fly around in a suit and everything. It was really cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, and then the most recent Dragon Age,
yeah,
and that's it.
yeah, it's just they had what Andromeda, Dragon Age. They did the Fallout New Vegas knockoff in space.
No, that was not
Outer
BioWare.
Worlds. That wasn't BioWare.
No, that was
I thought that was
Obsidian. No,
BioWare.
Outer
Oh,
Worlds is
okay.
Obsidian.
I get them both mixed up then. Never mind. I take it back.
No, so they had just those 3 games, which all
So then,
were
yeah, they don't even
flops.
have Outer Worlds to claim.
Again, and we don't have, and Obsidian hasn't been the same Obsidian in a long time.
Mm-mm.
But like Outer Worlds was still fun. I
Yeah.
enjoyed it. It was definitely marketed wrong, but it was still an okay game. But no, that's where it's like BioWare and a lot of the studios under EA. I 100% see their concern of if this buyout happens, because if they're not turning massive profit, which I would assume that's why Saudi Arabia is buying them, is to turn a massive profit.
Yeah, because I mean, worst case scenario, we just keep getting, it's not called FIFA anymore, whatever their soccer thing is, and then Madden.
Yeah.
And then they're still chock full of
EA
microtransactions.
Sports.
Yeah.
In the game.
No, EA Sports. It's in Saudi Arabia.
Yes.
It's in the sand.
So that's gonna be. Wow, Battlefield 6 might have. Never mind.
Because like
Yeah.
honestly, out of all, EA has like Need for Speed, maybe Battlefield,
Yeah,
And then
but Need for Speed has not been
sports.
like.
and that's it.
Yeah, but here's the thing: is like EA's been killing, like all of those titles. Like
EA killed Microprose. We should have done EA in the graveyard episode of like all the game.
oh, we would have been. We would
next
been
year.
here a long
Yeah.
time.
Put it on the calendar
Yeah,
for next year.
Next graveyard.
Because you
The
also,
EA graveyard.
Oh, I mean, we could have talked about that for Microsoft. Microsoft killed how many studios this year so far?
Microsoft's definitely turning into EA Part 2. Because like,
Matthew, I have a question for you.
yes,
This is so I know that this is not your bread and butter every day. And I've heard some of your thoughts on it, but again, you're just more knowledgeable than I am in general. What would be, so I have a piece of software that I do still have the desire to get into and learn about and set up and all that. I just haven't circled back around to it. But it's configuration language, or its configuration is basically Python.
Mhm.
That was the one thing, and they have good documentation, and that's something that I was reading and all that. But for somebody in your world, what would be your advice and a resource for like, what's the easiest way for me to learn quick and dirty Python? Like really the fundamentals, the understanding, like all the flow of someone with my as little
Depends
experience
on
as I
how
have.
quick and how dirty you want to be.
Yeah.
Doesn't necessarily have to be quick. I mean, I'd say relatively quick. I don't want a freaking 6-month boot camp kind of thing.
Yeah,
But like,
I
No,
can.
There's actually quite a few learn Python in 7-day courses you can take.
There's
Honestly,
plenty of like free resources
Yeah.
online. There's the resources that are geared towards you already know some programming in a language. So like learn X and Y minutes. That's a good resource if you already know programming and you just need to get up to speed on the syntax of a given language.
mhm,
There is don't use Geeks for Geeks.
okay,
Just cross that one off your list.
good to know.
Tutorials Plus, like at least when I was learning stuff, 7-8 years ago was fine. I haven't looked at it in a long time, so it could be just trash, SEO garbage right now. Same as Geeks for Geeks. Don't use Geeks.
Okay.
Um,
there's a couple
I
of
would have to look for Python specifically.
there's a couple of courses on Udemy I would point
I think
to.
I have one it's a
Oh,
Python boot camp.
you
I
know
don't
what?
remember which one it is.
Humble Bundle.
Yes.
Just keep an eye on Humble Bundle because chances are they're gonna have like an O'Reilly book bundle like
Oh, okay.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
That they might actually have one now. I'm gonna pull it up real quick.
I looked.
Not
they
right now.
they did.
Um,
I have a couple
Wait a minute.
that
Under software, they might have one right now. Look under software. There might be some courses there.
no, because it was cloud and something, which I bought that one.
Oh, yeah, they do. Python, data science, machine learning, mastery. It'll probably be like not on there by the time this episode airs. So sorry if anybody was like, "Oh my gosh, that sounds amazing." Yeah,
but Humble
$25
Bundle is
for
great, yeah.
Mammoth Interactive. You
I
can
honestly
ask
forget about
Ian,
Humble Bundle.
he's gotten a couple of different Mammoth Interactive bundles.
I
Okay.
have a couple of
Um,
them right now. I have one I think specifically for Python
See,
scripting.
Work pays for an O'Reilly subscription, so I just don't feel the need to purchase any of these things.
That's fair.
Like I have picked up some of the O'Reilly bundles just because.
But
I
that's
want to
still
have those.
still just those types of courses, that kind of
Yeah.
thing is still kind of it's a good quick and dirty like.
It
get
is
in-
because a lot of them, like the O'Reilly courses, they actually have quite a few of those. Learn coding from the beginner's perspective, where you really know nothing.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
for scripting,
Mhm.
like especially if you're doing like does Reaper use Python?
It can.
don't-
Because I
it
know
can?
DaVinci
Okay.
does.
So it can use
I
Python.
I don't get that far into either of those
And
things.
then
So
OBS, I forget what
Yeah.
it might be. But
and I guess where this is stemming from is like again so what I'm talking about is Frigate, and again like just because of my general lack of knowledge of programming languages period, like
Mhm.
just like the conceptual understanding of it, like yes I can read their documentation and yes I can copy pasta like kind of say okay you this but it's like I am kind of I think it would benefit me in general to have that more conceptual understanding of just what the thing is and
Yeah.
like the real basics of it. I think that would help me just read the documentation.
if you're
and
willing
do-
to pay a little bit of money, I would get Python for Kids.
I was honestly I was about to ask
This
like,
is a
is there anything
throwback?
for kids that I can
because
do?
that is actually how I learned. Nathan can attest to this because he bought the
I
book.
was gonna say that was a good
And
book.
then I actually use it. There's a second edition out now. I would definitely recommend pick that
Python,
up
yeah.
if you just want like something to get going.
Yeah. Okay.
Because it will explain the stuff that you need to know, and then there's stuff that's helpful to know that other books will also explain.
Mhm.
But you don't necessarily need to know, especially for just like scripting and
Yeah.
the configuration. Just like
Because the
little-
thing
little
that I
things like
have
that.
in Udemy is the complete Python boot camp from zero to hero by Jose Portilla and Purin Training or
Hmm.
something. But anyway, it's like a boot camp thing and it's pretty
Mhm.
long. But I mean it's like full Python training kind
Yeah,
of thing.
and again, it depends on
And
how
I'm sure
much
it's
you want to get
and
into it.
I've
but-
only
Well-
just scratched like I haven't really gotten into it at all.
And then another one, I don't know if it's gonna be applicable for what he's wanting to learn, but I mean, because I've seen ads for it, I've never tried it myself, but you can look at boot.dev.
Boot.dev.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so boot.dev is actually a good one because you can do everything for free. You just doesn't save your progress.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're trying to get on there for like the for the things that show that you actually did stuff, and for the because the way that they do it is they gamify everything, so you get experience
yeah.
points and rewards and stuff like that. You don't get that if you don't sign in and pay for it. But you can at least like try things out, and I am pretty sure that you get almost all the way through everything without signing in and paying for it. I could be completely wrong on that. It was kind of like that, at least early on. But that is also a great resource right there, because they focus on like Python, Go, and
Yeah,
a couple other
the
things.
ones that they have here, so it's backend dev in Python and Go, Python and TS, and then Python and SQL are a few of the options that they're showing on the main website that you can kind of specialize in.
Gotcha. Well, I appreciate it. That's very helpful because again, like that was just something I started kind of getting into it. Well, again, my interests are cyclical. So like I'll get interested in something for a couple of days and then it just kind of wanes and passes and it'll come back around eventually. It just depends when that is. But yeah, I just remember last time I touched it, it was like I was getting frustrated because again, sure, I can read the instructions, I can do stuff, but like obviously since it's based on Python, there's so much you can do with it, and they're only the knowledge base is really just to get you started
Mhm.
and to get things set up. But even like some of the setup stuff, I was having trouble with because I wasn't conceptually understanding what I'm looking at from a formatting and uh, language, like format, just the whole thing with a coding window
Yeah.
and all the stuff. Like I just don't have that conceptual knowledge, and I feel like it would be valuable for me to get that first
Mhm.
before diving back into. If I understood that, like the basics a little bit more, I think when I go back into the knowledge base, I can be, okay, this actually makes sense now because the positions of stuff actually mean something. This color means something. These little lines mean, that kind of.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go ahead and skip the Python. We're gonna have you start on Bash. You need to learn Bash first.
Oh, you don't. It's
No.
2025. You need to learn Bash. I am a
Talking about
Linux
boomer over here,
diehard, but
geez.
even then, I'm like, you
you-
have so many other options.
I'm about to say you don't even have to do that like at all. Because again, you have Python. You honestly way too many. Like, honestly, get good at writing YAML files. You'll be fine.
YAML.
Okay, so you guys are ready for like a super big rabbit trail?
Yes.
Because my wife just texted me. She says, "Hey, can you ask the guys something like a little podcast side note? Since the government shut down, does it mean it will become a Halloween Express? You know, because like every major business that shuts down, their building becomes a Halloween Express."
Sadly, because it's only a temporary shutdown. No,
Hey, but how long does
I
the
don't know, they can
Halloween
set up
Express
pretty
need to
quick.
move in?
not long at all.
Like shockingly not long.
I've seen it's like less than 3 weeks.
I mean, now's the time too. Like at time of recording, this is October. Okay, like if ever there was a time for a Halloween Express to move into DC, it is now.
That would be hilarious. Somebody needs to at least like as a joke. Well, I mean, never mind when I say that.
That would
just
be one
go
heck of
by,
a protest.
Go
Just put
buy
a
one of
banner up
those
there.
blow up like a air blow up Halloween decoration
Mm-hmm.
and just sneak over to one of the government buildings, like start putting one in front of them, like an entrance thing, like it's gonna be a Halloween Express, and just kind of walk up, set it down, plug it in somewhere, and just let it and then run away, and then start taking pictures of that around town. That'd be hilarious.
That'd be awesome.
So Matthew, I have a question.
Yes. Just answering all the developer questions.
Why is Git so horrible?
How are you using it?
I was trying to so I think it's working now.
Mhm.
Git files synced in with Git on my local machine.
Mm-hmm. Are you using GitHub as the backend?
Then
the files are going?
then going to GitHub.
Yeah.
Then going to Git files on my server.
Mhm.
My project, I think at one point literally half of my extensive time was just fighting with Git. I think I deleted my backups 3 different times because stuff kept getting out of sync. Why is Git so horrible?
So, explain to me what you're doing with Git.
I was trying to follow
Getting
instructions.
stuff.
I was following online to just version control.
So you're using DigitalOcean?
Yes.
This, right? Okay.
Yes.
Are they set up so that you use Git to sync your files to it?
So no, I have a bare bones virtual server.
Okay.
And I am responsible for everything else.
So it's just a VPS.
Yes.
So and then how are you getting the files to serve?
Originally, it was through SSH,
Okay.
which was also a royal pain to set
But then
up.
do you
That's for a
just
different day?
so you're just SSHing into the and then pulling down from Git? Is that the idea?
That was so. Originally, it was just SSH in,
Yeah.
copy files over, and I'm done. But I decided, okay, let's try to do this the correct way, and we'll set up Git, and and just nightmares ensued.
So Git is for
So I have Git, and then I also have it connect. And then after I set up Git, I then set up GitHub,
Mhm.
which for those listening is different. Those are two different things.
Yeah, GitHub is a platform. Git is the actual software. So the way that I would typically do it is you set up the repo in GitHub, and then you clone the repo, and then you add your file. That would be my recommended way of doing it. Because if you try to, you have to know what you're doing if you create the Git repository first locally, and then you want to push it up to GitHub. That can be kind of annoying. Are you using Cursor, Visual Studio Code?
I'm not going to say what I'm using, but I'm not using that.
Okay. Because if it's a VS Code fork, it should have a decent built-in, and they've
Okay,
fixed
no. Okay, let me
lot.
rephrase. So I'm not going to. So all I'll say here is I am using VS Code.
Yeah.
And VS Code has been worse than just
So
local Git and
if you're
GitHub.
using VS Code,
I didn't start with it. I threw it in later.
if you're using VS Code to manage your Git stuff, there's a lot of foot guns if you're doing anything besides just commit. So there's a little bit to it to figure it out, but on just the one machine, I don't know. It should be very easy to just commit, push. The other thing that you can use is the GitHub app. That also has a much better interface than the at least last I used. I just use the CLI. Okay, I'm not a plebe that needs a GUI. But if you need a GUI,
I was gonna say, well,
and you're just starting out, the GitHub app is actually pretty good.
I'm using a mix of I'm using mostly command line at this point, but even that was a complete nightmare setting up.
I can see that. All right, do you have the GitHub CLI installed?
No.
Okay, so that would solve a lot of problems because the biggest hurdle, I'm assuming that you had, one of the biggest hurdles was A, getting your Git repository into GitHub, and B, getting authenticated with GitHub.
Actually, getting into GitHub was the easy part. It was actually getting the proper files from my getting the proper files from my local to my server. That was actually the most time I spent fighting on this was that. And I don't really remember exactly what I did because it was just a constant string of Google searches, AI searches, trying things, it not working, deleting things, trying again, it not working.
How are you storing the files on the server? Like do you
Let's just say super basic.
So
because right now you
just have a virtual machine that's like there's files on it, and then you're calling from that.
Yes, that is as super.
Do you have them set up as like SMB shares, like network shares?
We'll say no, because I have no idea what you just said.
Would that be more straightforward in this scenario, Matthew?
Is it a Windows or a Linux box?
It's Ubuntu.
Okay,
I would
so
assume that.
Yeah, so it'll be an NFS.
Let me give you an example of how I have my site set up. It's a static site. I use Clojure as the programming language to parse the markdown files that I have, add the necessary HTML fragments that I want. It converts, markdown to HTML, builds the site, so I can just write my markdown, put it in a folder, click a button, it builds the site, and then I've been meaning to go back and tweak a couple things, but how I have it set up is that then I push it to GitHub. I commit my changes, I push. GitHub is set up with an action that will then FTP my files onto the server because it's just a static site. It's just CSS, HTML. I build the project locally and then everything is just committed up. Some people, they'll have it set up to where the only time that like the build, when you build the site, it will create an artifact directory. So it's a temporary thing. And then that gets sent over and then the artifact directory is, nuked. Like how at work, that's how projects are built. Because we don't want to build the project and then commit all of the DLLs and everything. Like that doesn't be in the repository. That's not, not necessary. But for the way that I'm doing stuff, and the site's small enough, it doesn't really matter. So that's one way of doing it. So it's a push method. The other way that you could do it if you wanted to use Git is because especially if it's like everything is self-contained in the repository and then you're pulling it down, as I would do that is you SSH remote in however you want to do it into your server and then pull down the repository via Git. Yeah, but the main point of Git is it is source control, so version management. You're managing the source code. The actions in GitHub for deploying things is a separate product. That's not a.
I haven't even touched those.
Yeah, and that can be a kind of a nightmare too. Yeah, I like Git. I like. Granted, it is kind of the only thing out there because and there's a lot of people that don't like Git, but it's one of those things where there are the products that people complain about and then the products that nobody uses, you know? Like same thing with Microsoft, right? I think I've said that before. There's like Microsoft, everybody complains about Microsoft, and then there's Linux that nobody uses. But also everybody complains about it too. So yeah.
It's just Linux people that we complain about mostly.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, I like Git has like a 79% market share. Like there just is no competition, just because it is so dominant. And part of why it's so dominant is because GitHub became big. It started out in 2003, 2004. Like it's not that old, all things considered. Because you would think for it being a software tool, it's been around since like the 80s or something like that. Source control has been around since the 80s or 90s. Like that's a technology that existed before my time. But Git, the current dominant force, has only been around since 2003, I think, and it was created by the same guy that created the Linux kernel, Linus Torvalds, as just he hated the source control options at the time, so he just spun this up, and then here we are, you know.
So
20 years
out of
later.
curiosity, so like when you say, so I know that like GitHub it's a repository and you're storing you are storing if not full projects, like building blocks for the code that you're writing that you're pulling down to stick into places that you need it. That I'm sure, is that a really dumb way of
kind of sort of,
describing
yeah.
it? Okay. But nonetheless, it is storage.
Yes.
So Nathan, in this case, like these files that you're referring to, they can exist in GitHub and be stored there. Yes?
Yes.
So I guess my question would be, as far as your workflow, this is coming from a place of complete ignorance. I know nothing about the thing you're doing. So
I haven't gotten to see the code
I'm not
base
assuming
either,
anything that I know anything, but just from the little bits of things I know and the information I've heard. Are you using, is the files being stored on this server you have, is that for the function of more so of like backups, or is that where it live, like where the primary place that it lives?
Primary place where it lives.
Okay. Why wouldn't you, would it be more efficient for it to just live in GitHub?
Well,
Am I not thinking about this correctly?
It depends on what kind of a project it is. So like if it's a static site, you can use GitHub Pages. If it is
this is that app that you made, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
If it has any kind of backend to it,
Not the best thing in the
GitHub
world.
Pages is for a static site.
GitHub, any of it was largely pointless.
Mhm.
It was more of a prepping it to get more complicated.
Git is pointless if you don't understand the point of it, because the source control. So here's a couple examples of why we use source control. For one, it is a backup, right? For two, it is a way of managing changes.
Mhm.
So I have my repository. I clone the repository, so I have a local copy of it. I make changes to the repository. I commit those changes. So then there's like, it's kind of like a snapshot. Okay. And then I push those changes up. And so there's a list of all the snapshots of here's the changes that were made. It's very easy to roll back to different commits. It's very easy to compare commits because this is all text. So that's one of the big deals is that you can see exactly what's changed. Like highlight, this is what's been deleted, this is what's been added, that kind of thing. On top of that, and this is just in a single branch, you can have multiple branches. So I can, and this is where like the collaboration side of things comes in, where multiple people can be working on the same project. on different branches. So I can completely blow up stuff over here, and then my buddy can completely blow up stuff on the other branch. We can have two different branches, and there's the master branch, or main if you want to be politically correct.
Wouldn't that be a trunk?
Yes. There's different development philosophies, trunk-based development. And that would take too long to explain. But all that being said, you can have, so like for example, I have master branch, right? If I'm going to wildly do some massive changes and stuff like that, I'll create a development branch, so I can blow stuff up. I can have work in progress commits. I can do that, and then let's say that why I would do this while I'm working on this, somebody has a bug with the project or a bug with the application, and they need it fixed, and I'm like knee deep in blowing things up in the development branch. Well, I can just save my changes, hop back over the master branch, fix the bug. The people that are still using the software
on the actual running
version, get it deployed, and then just bring those changes back over to development and keep on trucking.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So that's just an example of like it's much better than back in college where you had like the your version 4 final copy of your paper and all that. Like it's very nice to have that that level of detail there.
Now,
it's a lot more than just backing up
all the
files.
things that you just described as far as like that workflow and how that's happening, that's actually happening in Visual Studio in your application, the work you're doing.
Yes.
And then the changes the things you're committing to the
Git is just for managing the changes. Yeah.
That is actually stored up in GitHub.
Yeah.
And then Git is the conduit between the two.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you can imagine, Git is the software that's actually managing the changes and keeping track of changes and everything. GitHub is storage with some additional features, like there's issue tracking, you can build wiki, there's GitHub page. There's a lot more to it than
storage and documentation.
Pull requests, things of that.
Pull requests. Yeah. There's a lot. It builds on top of Git, which is the source control software. But Git is kind of like the middle piece.
Yeah. Okay.
It can be really annoying to learn.
I'm glad we solved your problem, Nathan.
I'm just glad to be justified in my frustration.
Yeah, like it is definitely one of those things where this is a perfect example of why I don't fear AI taking my job, because there's other tools that you have to learn. It can help you learn these things, and then it can also probably do some of it for you. But it's very easy to go off the rails. So
I would say, like, from my very limited though quickly growing experience at this point, is that it is, if you are a programmer, you really need to be figuring out how AI works, because there's elements of your job that is 100% going to be better at than you are. Just because the way the AIs are right now is that they can sort through much more data much faster than any human ever will. But there's been a lot of tweaking that I've had to do. But there's been even more of all the extra stuff that there isn't an AI for right now. Like the entire, like the actual, the app itself, cool, awesome. The app itself is useless though if you don't have a way for people to use it. And the most I've been able to use AI for that is just directions on how to set it up. I've still had to set it up. The AI has still been wrong. And so I've had to go back and get corrected directions. And so all of those, at least so far, all of those things are, you're still got to have people do that.
Yeah.
That's so people are still safe in that regard. People are safe.
Here's an example of AI screwing up, and then I didn't catch it. I get a ticket today that said, "Hey, I can't open this request because we have this for one of the departments. We have application set up so that users can fill out a form, like a request, and then it goes through a workflow. Like there's a couple different steps to it. There's different parties that approve different things. So they were emailing and said, "Hey, I open it up and it just doesn't do anything. Like it says that you can't view it." And it was on the admin dashboard. I was like, that's never happened before. But I had just deployed on Monday, so today is Wednesday of recording. So not Tuesday. Sorry, guys. You can cut all this out if that's too much behind the scenes stuff. We'll put it behind the non-existent paywall. We'll put it up on the plateau. But anyway,
Mesa.
Yeah, the Mesa. So this is never happened before. So I'm like, this is fishy. But on Monday, so 2 days ago, I had deployed a big update that had a bunch of AI related changes because like I had it go through and do a bunch of maintenance for me. And I just kind of did a cursory glance, made sure that everything looked good, it still built, still ran, and for the most part, it was great. I only had like a handful of bugs that I had to fix after it made it into production. This was a weird one. So I go back and I start looking, and I'm like, okay, this is weird. I find out that it had just deleted a massive chunk of code because it didn't match the rest of the forms. Because there's like, I think 12 or 13 different forms, and I'm trying to unify the backend so that it's easier for me to work on and spin up new ones. So instead of having a bunch of copy pasted stuff, we are cleaning up the code base. We're practicing don't repeat yourself, which you can go overboard with, but this is the case. It had this form in particular has a file upload feature to it, which most of the other forms don't have. So it just deleted the functions for uploading and downloading, and deleting files attached to this form, and then commented out some stuff, and I didn't catch that, and this is entirely on me. This was one of the last ones that I did, and for each of the ones before that, I did one form at a time, committed the changes, went for it, and then by the time I got to this one, I'm like 8 forms, and I was like, okay, this is gonna be fine. I'll just do like a couple at a time, and it'll be great. So I did a couple at a time. Didn't really look into this one that hard. I had a good talk with my boss about this. I was like, maybe AI will come for my
So
job.
what I'm hearing is that in this case the AI was not vibing.
In this
with
case,
your
an
code.
intern would have been better because I guarantee you they would not have been that retarded. So it was an easy enough fix. And this is also an example of source control is great because I was able to go back to a previous commit where I knew that the code was correct and existed, copy from there, paste it back in, uncomment the code. The AI was like, well, we don't need this anymore. And then I was back in business. It was just like a 5-minute tweak.
Yeah, I don't,
So, yeah.
I don't feel bad now because I've been using Claude to.
And
Go-
this was Claude Sonnet 4.
Yeah, it's like no.
And it managed to be this retarded. So I was
Yeah.
a little perturbed about
Well,
that.
no, because so I've been feeding Claude a bunch of my old PowerShell scripts. I'm like, okay, a lot of these don't work anymore. Instead of like trying to modernize them under Python's, I'm sorry, under PowerShell's current command, let's just go ahead and transfer all this to Python. Let's do some more automation there. And it's like, all right, cool, here you go, do your thing. I'll review this later. It came in. I was like, yeah, this looks good enough. Ran it. I deleted one of my 140 gig databases because it named it slightly wrong.
Yeah.
And if it didn't match what I had in the table of like, here, these are the databases, these are the files, things that I want to keep. Everything else that's not a part of this, and I don't want it, to be integrated with rsync. Go ahead and just remove it. It's not necessary anymore.
Yeah.
You need to go through and verify you don't have any typos before you just let it go through and delete. And this is why backups are also very important.
Yeah, so it does save me a lot of typing, which is nice. But in some cases, like
it saves typing,
that
but then
kind
you
of
have
stuff
to
is
go
a
through
lot of
and
fun.
but then you have to go back through and reread. That's the big thing.
And reading code is the worst part of the job.
Especially when it's like
these are
1,200 lines and it's a lot of repeats.
Yeah.
This is these are all the reasons why like I never in my life have the desire to truly learn coding and like be any sort, even an amateur developer, because just from hearing all of this and hearing all the other things that I've heard in my life, I absolutely detest what you do for a living.
It is the most
sounds horrible.
Simultaneously like the most intellectually rewarding and intellectually humbling experience.
Yeah, and frustrating.
Because 9 times out of 10, like this in this instance, right? It was something stupid. This wasn't like a massive like we had to just completely rewrite everything because I made a mistake in the design plan or something like that. No, it was just like it just deleted stuff. I just had to copy it back in. Well, 9 times out of 8, it is always something small. I have never had an issue where the whole thing was just fundamentally flawed and we had to completely rewrite it. It's always been there's just like a missing semicolon or something like that.
Or it just has just bad syntax.
Yeah, it's just like it's just little stupid things that when you find like I don't know if I talked about this on the show or not in a previous episode, but I had an issue where we're caching data to make the application faster, so that way it's for the user it's faster, and we don't like the data that we're pulling from doesn't update that often, so it should be fine. But we still want to refresh that cache periodically, so it was supposed to refresh every 15 minutes. So basically, when user does something that accesses that data. We check to see if the last time it was updated is greater than 15 minutes ago. And then if it is, we update. I have no idea what I was doing or why I was as retarded as I was when I set this up, because it was not checking if, the current time is greater than the last pulled time minus 15 minutes. It was checking if the current time is, if the current time was, or no. We want the current time, that what we want was current time to be less than, the, oh, now I'm getting myself mixed up. Dang it. Now I understand what Reach was coding this like 6 months ago when I did it.
Because basically, you want the timestamp of when the entry was made
Yes.
to then go back and recheck the last cache file
Yeah.
if it was less than 15 minutes ago. If it was less than 15 minutes, no refresh.
So we want to add 15 minutes to the.
You want to add, but why? So that's where I'm confused on your setup, because you
Let
should
me look this up, because I wrote it down in the
because
podcast chat not too long ago.
it should have a timestamp of like when the cache was accessed,
Yeah.
and if that is greater than 15 minutes of the last refresh,
I'm displaying my retardation now.
then it should refresh. If not, then it should just go back to a null value and then just not do anything. I have no idea.
Not that long ago.
Anyway, this is just some of the fun stuff.
Oh, yeah,
like
okay,
when
here we go.
when you're building the script, it's just
Here's
it's
what I
annoying.
wrote. So we had an issue with an application not updating the cache data after 15 minutes. I did some digging, and turns out it was checking if the last pulled date was greater than 15 minutes into the future instead of less than 15 minutes into the past.
That's it. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So basically, it was
You were
never going
presuming-
to be true because it was checking if the current time
You were
was
presuming
He's already-
time travel.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like just you just have to literally flip one character. Like that's it.
Yeah.
That's all you gotta do.
It's dumb. So dumb. So anyway, and this wasn't an AI thing. This was I know that this was,
Mhm.
I put that in there.
Luckily, it's just
an
because
oopsie.
the keys are just
Little
next to
oopsie
each other
whoopsie.
on the keyboard. It was just a little
Yeah.
fat finger.
Well, and I kept getting like reports that, hey, it's just not updating. Like, how long is it supposed to take? And it had been like hours. I was like, well, it's only supposed to take 15 minutes, And I kept was doing a lot of heavy lifting.
Yep.
there. So I went back and looked, and it was one of those things where I stared at it for way
Yep.
too long and was like looking all around it and everything, put it down, went to lunch, came back, looked at it again, and just immediately I was like, what was I even thinking?
Yep. I've done that numerous times.
Yeah.
Mine is again. It's always with rsync. Rsync and me when I'm trying to automate it. It's just because I'm doing it like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, okay, cool. All I want to do is like it's usually for some of my media files. I'm like, all I want is like when it reaches this folder, do this function,
Yeah.
and then when that function's complete, move it to this next directory. Once the copy's complete, delete the file. Right? You also should go back and recheck your work to ensure, hey, once that function's complete, it actually deletes it, or else when you're going back and looking at your NAS, going, how come I have no storage anymore? It's because all your previous files and your automation tasks weren't cleaning up themselves.
Yep. So my one of my colleagues had an issue with the difference between move and copy is big. Like
Yep.
copy creates a copy, move moves the file and deletes the original, right? So he had an issue where and it was actually the opposite. Instead of copying the file, I think is what we wanted. It was moving the file
Mhm.
and then deleting the original. But we wanted to leave the original for some reason, or like copy it to a separate directory.
Yep.
So that was actually causing issues. So yeah, make sure that you understand the difference between
And-
move and
and-
copy.
And if you are doing move and copy in a similar function to one file, make sure you do the copy function first.
Yeah.
Learn that one.
Yep. Order of operations is more than
It
just a math
matters.
thing. Yeah.
It matters a lot, especially when you're doing just like an and statement.
Yeah.
It matters a lot.
Yeah. So on the topic of being thankful, I'm thankful that my boss is patient with me when I display this kind of retardation. Because, man.
Yeah, it happens.
Yep.
And that's why it's like I don't build applications. Like I build scripts. So luckily, like if I'm breaking something, it's very minimal. But also when you're moving occasionally terabytes of data, that one little error can be very costly.
Very catastrophic. I have to rip all the Blu-rays all over again.
It's not even that. No, it's like some of the stuff that like when I was doing it for work.
Mhm.
It's like, okay, you need to double check. It's like again, it works perfect in your pilot testing. Everything's great. Then you put it in production and
Yep.
actually say, "Yep, go, let's move it," and it
Yep.
just craps the bed. All because again, you have one syntax not set exactly the way that it was supposed to. And
Yeah,
then,
everybody's got perfectly working software until it hits production.
yeah, and if you want to ensure that your perfectly working software, you want someone to find all the bugs, hand it to me. I am so good at breaking rock solid software just by using it.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of breaks,
I didn't think we were breaking anything this time around. Are we breaking stuff?
Breaking hearts.
We're
Okay.
breaking this episode up.
Oh, it's being broken up. Okay. Well, thank you for joining us here on the Hostility in the Morning podcast. If you stayed this long and like what you heard, leave a comment and let us know. You can also hit us up on X, Facebook, Instagram, or info@hostilityinthemorning.com. We upload every other Tuesday real early on Substack, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and YouTube. If you want a one-stop shop for everything hostile, you can find everything at hostilityinthemorning.com. And remember, have a hostile morning.